right? So if you give me the permission to start, I'd like to first talk about Thomas Frank's system, right? So at Brentford, Thomas Frank used to play a 4-back system. So it was a 4-2-3-1 system, right? And this system, he wants a very direct approach. Thomas Frank is very direct. And to let you all know is that one thing I want you guys to know is that Thomas Frank does not have an ideology. He doesn't have there's nothing like Frank ball, unlike other things where we have the coach and they will put ball by the name because he has his ideology and they want to brand it. Thomas Frank is very direct. He's very experimental. He likes he's very pragmatic. So with this 4-2-3-1 system, he plays obviously an attacking midfielder, and also his wingers are very narrow because he allows his fullbacks to overlap. The fullbacks overlap to create space for the wingers. So the likes of Kelvin on the left wing and Brian Mbeumo on the right wing were able to contribute to the goals for Brentford because of how he deployed his fullbacks. So they were termed as inside forwards, right? So Thomas Frank, let's look at what I said earlier. He can also play a system called a 3-5-2 formation. This 3-5-2 formation, he deploys the then wing backs, the then fullbacks as wing backs. So we have the left wing back and we also have the right wing backs. Then he play one of his inside forwards or a winger attached with the striker to sort of give him striking options and also give him midfield options. And when they are defending, he has enough players to defend. So he plays a 4-2-3-1 system. Then he can also play a 3-5-2 system. So, like I said before, Thomas Frank is very focused on transition, right? He doesn't have a system where you can pinpoint, oh, this is Thomas Frank's system. He likes to defend or he likes to attack. He's very transitional. He loves to capitalize on opponents' defenses. So Thomas Frank, although he likes to attack, he loves that his defense is very solid before he moves up front. So let's say so whenever he's building up, he makes sure that he creates overloads at the back. Okay, so there will be overloads at the back, right? So as to create options. So when they're able to break out from the back, then there will be spaces to find the likes of Brian Mbeumo, the striker, which will be Solanke in Tottenham Hotspur. So they'll create options at the back here, and then they'll make quick passes to the free men up front. So he first solidifies the defense before you focus on the attack. That's what has been helping Brentford. Although they tend to concede some goals, they try to solidify the defense before they move into attack. There's a clear example here. I'll show you. So this is what I talked about. They create overloads, like on the right flank. There will be involvement from the fullback, the right fullback, the right centre back, and also the central midfielder to create an overload here. So the opponent will also follow to that side. Their press will be shifted to that side, and then when there is space, so say Son Heung-min will be here for Tottenham because he's the left winger. Son Heung-min will have to make a run, and then they quickly switch the ball. So they just want to use the spaces the opponents will leave behind. You understand? So Thomas Frank is very pragmatic. Now, understanding this system, we are going to look at how Mohammed Kudus will play under Thomas Frank in this system. It's very simple. It's a very simple system that I think will help a player like Mohammed Kudus, who is a right winger and also can play as an inside forward. So let's look at Mohammed Kudus here. How will Mohammed Kudus fit into this system? So Mohammed Kudus, our Ghanaian brother, has signed for Tottenham Hotspur. We know Mohammed Kudus to be a very versatile player. Some say he can play across the entire front line. He has done it before, but I have this opinion that he doesn't do well in all the positions. You have to play a player where he feels comfortable and where he prospers the most. So we are going to look at all the positions that Mohammed Kudus has played on the pitch, right? So Mohammed Kudus has played a left winger before. As a left winger, Mohammed Kudus has played 19 games and has 6 goals, 3 assists. That's his lowest of all the positions. It's his lowest. As a left winger, he has 6 goals and 3 assists. Although he has 19 games, you can pardon him for that. Then we also have, as a central midfielder, as a central midfielder, Mohammed Kudus has played 46 games, has scored 11 goals, and then has 3 assists. Mohammed Kudus has also played as an attacking midfielder, where he played 50 games, has 12 goals, and then 6 assists. You look at Mohammed Kudus playing as a striker, he has 51 games under his belt. He has scored 16 goals as a striker, and then 3 assists as well. Then you look at the right wing position. Mohammed Kudus, this is what his best position is. As a right winger, he has played 50 games, right? And has 21 goals and then 10 assists. So it tells you that Mohammed Kudus will do better as a right winger under Thomas Frank, because that's his best position, and Thomas Frank likes players to play in their best position where they can interpret the spaces very well to their own liking, right? So of all these positions, I feel like Mohammed Kudus will do very well as a right winger and sometimes as a striker. So moving forward, I'll tell you why. Okay. Why? Because last season, right? Last season under the then Tottenham Hotspur coach, the guy who just won the
Postecoglou.
Yeah, and Postecoglou, who just won the European competition for Tottenham. What he kept on doing was that he kept moving his fullbacks into the middle. He kept inverting them, right? So the likes of Pedro Porro and also Destiny Udoji would move into the midfield to create more midfield options to occupy the central area rather than overlapping, right? So they rather underlap instead of overlapping, which will limit the options of a winger, because if you're a winger, you need more options. If your fullbacks overlap, it also creates a dilemma for the opponent's defense, whether to mark the fullback or to mark the winger, right? So under Thomas Frank, he's going to allow his fullbacks to overlap more. He's going to relieve the fullbacks their duties of inverting, right? Instead of underlapping, they're going to be overlapping. So say on the right wing, this is a scenario here. Pedro Porro is the right fullback, right? So he's overlapping here. Mohammed Kudus will get the chance to move inside. Mohammed Kudus initially as a right winger will be hugging the flanks over here. But when Pedro Porro overlaps, he gives him an option to move inside. So he then becomes an inside forward. So he can occupy the half space. So the half space, like we always say, is the space between the fullback, and also the immediate centre back.
Yeah.
That's the half space, right? So these are the spaces that Mohammed Kudus will be occupying, because Pedro Porro will give him the weight, will give him an option on the flanks. So Mohammed Kudus can move inside, and this brings him closer to the goal. Instead of staying on the flanks here and dribbling all he wants and still not getting goal contributions, Mohammed Kudus is the kind of player that does not like crosses as a winger. His crosses are actually bad. Because look at a player like Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal does not engage in the box too much. He stays on the flanks, but he's able to get a lot of assists because he has realized that if I'm standing anywhere in the half space, it's dangerous. If you get past the center line, anywhere on the half space is very dangerous for the opponents, right? So even if you're a winger and you are standing here, say you are left-footed, you can still cross here from the half spaces, and then your teammates can pounce on it. So Mohammed Kudus, unlike Lamine Yamal, will have to move into the half spaces and then attack the ball himself rather than just standing there and crossing, because he's not good at it. So it will give an option for Mohammed Kudus. He'll get a lot of goals as well. Look at a player like Brian Mbeumo. Brian Mbeumo flourished under Thomas Frank because of this system. He was allowing the fullback to overlap. Then Brian Mbeumo can move into the half spaces and get a shot on goal. Now, I brought this picture because the player that Mohammed Kudus will be competing with is Dian Kuliski. Going into the Tottenham team, Dian Kuliski is the right winger. Sometimes they deploy him as an attacking midfielder, but the attacking midfield role is for James Maddison. He's going to be playing there throughout the season because James Maddison has this similar attribute to Mikel Damsgaard, who was playing for Brentford. So Mikel Damsgaard was his movements, the way he finds opponents, his teammates behind opponent defense, is what James Maddison will bring to this Tottenham team. I don't think Kuliski will give him that, although Kuliski can hold on to the ball like Mohammed Kudus. So they will compete on the right flank. So looking at this, right, you would think that Kuliski is more talented than Mohammed Kudus, because coming from a team like Juventus, Kuliski has proven to be a very good player. Even in the EPL, they kept comparing him to players like Martin Odegaard, right? And also Bukayo Saka whenever he played either on the right flank or in an attacking midfield position. Now you look at both players, right? They both played 32 games. Mohammed Kudus scored 5 goals and assisted 3 times. Kuliski scored 7 and assisted 4. Now you realize that the goal difference, the goal contribution difference is not vast, right? So it means that Mohammed Kudus can compete with Dian Kuliski. Although Mohammed Kudus will bring more options, will bring a variety over there, because Mohammed Kudus has proven that he's a way stronger player than Dian Kuliski. Dian Kuliski, although he has played 32 games, he has started only 25 out of them, right? And because of his injury situations, he kept on coming on from the bench in some of the games. So Mohammed Kudus as a left winger can equally compete with Dian Kuliski as a right winger in the Tottenham team. So I feel like Mohammed Kudus should play as a right winger under Thomas Frank. Now, when I was talking about Thomas Frank's system, I also said he can play a 3-back system, which is the 3-5-2 system, right? This is where Mohammed Kudus can be played as a second striker. I didn't bring the second striker statistics of Mohammed Kudus inside, but he has played second striker once and he has scored just 1 goal as a second striker. I didn't bring it in here. But I feel like the way Thomas Frank has been playing Brian Mbeumo against big teams, Thomas Frank, always against big teams, he plays a 5-back or 3-5-2 system just to give him more options in defense, more options in midfield, and also more options in attack, because the wing backs will be running a lot. And he feels like in top teams, the wingers do not come back to support their fullbacks. That's why he plays the 5-back system, so that the wing backs can work the opponent's fullbacks out. You understand? So if Mohammed Kudus plays here, he's able to get a lot of shots on goal. He's facing the goal directly. He doesn't need to do a lot of dribbles on the flanks. He's in the half space. He can get a shot on goal. He can also assist a couple of players that will be running in late into the box, right? So Mohammed Kudus will be very, very comfortable playing as a second striker in the Tottenham team whenever they are playing against big teams, should Thomas Frank decide to go for this approach. Now, to finish this, I'd like to talk about Mohammed Kudus's shot conversion rate. The reason why I kept saying that Mohammed Kudus will be closer to goal, he wouldn't have to shoot from outside the box, is that Mohammed Kudus, he shot 42 times last season and he only had 46.67% shot conversion rate.
To shot conversion, does that mean the number of goals he scored out of the number of shots? Shots on target. Okay.
Yes, shots on target. So the number of shots he took about 42, right? And he had 25 of it on target, right? And then if you analyze it, right, most of his shots are outside the box. They are over ambitious shots. He doesn't get closer to goal. So whenever he's in this area, in the half space or in the zone 14, he decides to shoot the ball. But with this system, playing as a right winger or as an inside forward or playing as a second striker, Mohammed Kudus will get more chances in the opponent's box. Then he'll be able to create a lot of shots from there. So I feel like Mohammed Kudus should be playing as a right winger or as a second striker, depending on the system that Thomas Frank decides to go with. This is simply how he'll be playing.
Absolutely. So that was a very detailed breakdown of what Mohammed Kudus will be doing at Tottenham. Ajo?
Yeah, question from our boy Kelvin. You made mention of Pedro Pro when he overlaps Kudus to become the king of the half spaces. Now, I know Mohammed Kudus to have some deficiencies in his passing. I mean, in the EPO, if you become a half space master and your progressive passes or your final third passes are even below average or average, we don't count you to be part of the best 10s or half space kings in the EPO, like Cole Palmer. I don't know if I should add in Mbeumo now, like the top wingers in the EPO. If you are Thomas Frank, what are you doing to make sure his weakness becomes one of his strengths in your setup? And also, I know Thomas Frank plays as like a 4-4-2 system often. That is where Mbeumo sometimes was like his top finisher in the box. In the box, I've seen Kudus be very, very kind of like a cow in his finishing. Also, how as a coach, Kelvin, are you going to make Kudus have that calm nerves in the box to one? If he's in the box, is he that passing or giving good cutbacks for tap-ins from his teammates, or also having that calmness in the box in the EPL to score goals and also get these 20 goals numbers.
Okay, I thought you can draw inspiration from Anthony Gordon. Remember Anthony Gordon at Everton? Anthony Gordon likes to exaggerate. He likes to play. He wants the ball at his feet, right? But when he got to Newcastle, Eddie Howe instructed him that he should be very direct, right? You shouldn't do a lot of controlling. Release the ball when you have to release the ball. So it's instructions. The coach has to tell him what he should do. I feel like Mohammed Kudus, when you tell him what he should do, he'll do it. Although he has his own ways, he keeps saying that as a player he wants to entertain the fans, right? But as a player who is playing under a team that wants results, if a coach tells you to do something, you have to do it, regardless of your style of play. So what I'm trying to say is that Mohammed Kudus will still be Mohammed Kudus, but I feel Thomas Frank will tell him he should limit the exaggeration, over elaboration on the ball. He'll get his chances in goal.
I mean, with this tactical discipline, it's been one of the biggest issues Kudus has had.
Yes.
Both for the teams he's played for and even for the Black Stars. Thomas Frank is a very regimented manager. What if he doesn't listen? Is he out of the team? Because there's competition for those places.
Oh, yes.
Even what's the name of the lad that came in from Nottingham Forest?
Johnson.
Bernard Johnson can play in his position.
He enjoys playing the right one.
Yeah. Kulusevski can play in his position. Heung-min Son is still at the club.
So Mohammed Kudus, I've always been saying, Adjo can testify, because see, Mohammed Kudus, I've always said that he can't play everywhere. So where you can play, you have to master it. Mohammed Kudus cannot play as an attacking midfielder because he cannot create chances. His chance creation is very low. When you look at his last season, the number of chances he created is no more than 10. The whole season, Mohammed Kudus didn't create more than 10 chances. It was about 6 or so. So if you are given the chance to play as a right winger, why not take your chance? You are competing against Dian, who is not a bad player. Kuliski is a very good player. Even if Kuliski will come to Barcelona and can give Lamine Yamal a run for his money, because he's a very good player.
Kulusevski will give Lamine Yamal a run for his money.
Yes.
So I think Kulusevski is on the same level as Lamine Yamal.
It's not the same level. It's not the same. Look, you are right wingers. Oh, what do you want to do? We want to win the game. And if someone is helping me to win the game more, why won't I pick him? It's competition.
So you think Kulusevski would very easily compete with Lamine Yamal?
Yes. On his good day, he will compete with Lamine Yamal. What can't he do?
He might not be better than Lamine Yamal at a lot of things. Yeah.
He might not be better than Lamine Yamal at a lot of things, but he presents a different set of qualities that could actually help him. Yeah. Lamine Yamal might be the better player, yes, but Kulusevski.
No, but according to what he's saying, I mean, Lamine Yamal and Kulusevski are on the same level. That's what he's saying. That's not what you're trying to say.
No, that's not what he's saying at all.
That's what I'm saying. See, I made mention of the fact that Lamine Yamal has realized that when you stand here, so this is the house piece. Pep Guardiola kept using this guy, Kevin De Bruyne, in this house piece. When you stand here and then you cross, when you stand there and then you cross, there's a higher chance that your ball will land on a player. The player will either score with a header or tapping, right? It's very likely. Rather, we should call Pedro Porro here. So imagine Pedro Porro here crossing the ball, and then Pedro Porro here crossing the ball. He's more likely to get an assist from here than here, because here he's being marked. It is very how do you call it? Predictable. They know he's going to cross from here. But when he's here, he's either going to shoot or cross. You understand? So standing in the house piece, Lamine Yamal has realized that when he stands there, the inverted crosses. I can confidently say that Lamine Yamal, 70% of his assists has come from that inverted crosses he's been making in the house piece. You understand? So if any winger, say Mohammed Kudus, should learn that, and he's playing for Barcelona, let's say he does that and he gets more assists than Lamine Yamal, who do you think should be playing as the right winger? It should be Mohammed Kudus. It doesn't matter whether Lamine Yamal is more talented or not. That's what I'm trying to say, that Kuliski will compete with Mohammed Kudus. So Kudus should step up his game as a right winger.
Absolutely. So I will get to hear your thoughts as well as we go along. So thank you very much, Kelvin, for giving us the tactical breakdown. That was very, very, very amazing. He showed us exactly where Mohammed Kudus will fit into that Tottenham team. Later, like I said, we'll hear your thoughts. Adjo.
Because numbers for Kudus now. Now we have to give numbers. Now you see, he should get ready for that uncomfortable conversation, because whatever approach Maresca will be using for Cole Palmer, and you are in landing to, the comparisons will start. So if you do well, the PR will be there to push you because we will have that convo, Palmer, Kudus conversation. But he doesn't do well. It's to his demerit because that London club comes Saka. So Kudus has to start giving numbers. The shooting, the passing, that defense placing passes, that progressive passes that can wow all of us. My biggest problem with Kudus is always been his progressive passes. Now the system this coach will play, you don't have to use all the physicals, your body ought to be dribbling and taking on. No, you have to just apply. Be at the right place at the right time. If in the box, be there. If you have to give a cutback, be there. So for Kudus, I think Thomas Frank will kind of build a team around him and maybe Johnson. So Kudus has no option than to do and give at least, let's say, 15 goals. 15 goals.
That you have 15 goals. That
in all competitions.
So difficult.
Champions, 15 goals. At least
in all competitions.
Yes.